I have something special for you. And also, it's a way to make the world a better place, and it's fun. So, you've heard me talk about The Hammer. If you haven't, then you don't know me. And I'm Angela Shelton. I made this movie, The Hammer. It was originally called Heart Baby. It's right here. It was originally called Heart Baby, and they changed it to The Hammer for a Walmart release, and we've now sold out twice. And the movie is doing amazing. It's super awesome, cool. The distributor is like out of just over the moon. They're happy, and the money's coming in. Imagine that. There's a whole other talk I need to do to independent filmmakers, survivor manual. Jeez. But I want to talk about the real guy, George the Hammer Martin, that the movie is about. It's about him and his best friend. These are the actors. George Lee Martin and Andy Doc Dixon are the real guys that this movie's about. And George the Hammer Martin was a prison boxer, and he was undefeated. He still is undefeated, actually. He really, truly is the champion of the world. He really should fight Mike Tyson. Oh, I just said that. He's 64 years old, and we just did a fight a couple weeks ago in Nashville because he was challenged by a 46-year-old, and he won. George did, who's 64. And he was just playing with him. He was like a cat with a little mouse. He was having fun. I mean, you're just like, wow, you're amazing. And his dream is to have a boxing gym so that he can teach at-risk kids and also the ladies. He likes teaching the ladies, with this area. So like a boxer size. So his best friend set him up, like connected with Bonafide Gym in Nashville. And I'll put all the links below or up somewhere. And he got a gym. And so he goes and he actually teaches kids and at-risk kids, and he teaches ladies. And then COVID hit. And you're like, what? Like, if it's not one thing, it's a freaking virus. And so we set him up with online boxing classes and boxercise. And we've been doing it for months now. We do it on Mondays, and now we're doing it on Sundays because we realized that, like, yeah, we're working out with George. And to work out with George is painful. He is the champion of the world, and he is like rock solid, and he runs like 27 miles a day or something insane. You're like, good luck with that. But it's awesome. The ladies love it because, again, like, he's actually helped me. I've lost a lot. I lost 25 pounds because I gained pounds for another movie. It's another subject, totally. So we set him up with these classes, right? So Monday and now Sunday, because we realized that the beauty of him is literally hanging out with him. It's literally like, if you have any issue in your life, like if you're struggling with something, or if you're like feeling depressed, or you just need a little lift me up, seriously, hang out with George Lee Martin. Because even me, when I was making the film and I hit every roadblock you could ever hit when you're making an independent film, because that's what happens, you just literally, like, I just called George up, and he just talks, and he's like, you get in the ring, you don't sit down, and I love him so much. And I'm not the only one. Like, people, like, once you meet him and once you see the movie, you're like, I love that guy. So we have set him up with a GoFundMe, a new one. We were trying before, but we were focusing on him raising money to have a gym. But now it's like he has a gym he can go to. It's like COVID is an issue, and Bonafide Gym is doing a great job with like managing that. So he still can go physically go and train you if you're in Nashville. And then we do these things online, which is kind of more fun. And it's just hanging out with George. And you just, you don't have to pay for it because, I mean, it's still awesome. But it was like, just give him a little bit of GoFundMe love. And then all the money goes to him directly. And we did that because the movie's doing really well. Like, again, I should talk to independent filmmakers. Like, it sold out twice in Walmart. It was amazing. And now it's like, I got a call that it happened in Target also. But the way the independent movies work, the way that movies work, is the money comes in and it goes to the unions. So, like, the actors all get paid again, even though they already get paid. But they got paid, like, their residuals and stuff. And then the investors get paid. And then that might take a minute. And so once they're paid, then anybody who has points on the back end, like they always say in Hollywood, like, you have a point on the back end, and you're like, yeah, right, never see that. Well, the reason you never see that, or like most people, is because there's all kinds of people in the middle which would be our production company that are stealing. And we're not stealing. We actually give the money to, we have it set up so that George and Andy themselves actually have a piece of it after all this other stuff has to be paid. So it's going to take a minute. So I'm like, why don't we just set it up that it goes to him now? I'm like, hey, of course, buy the movie. I mean, I'm not going to say like, absolutely buy the movie, download it. You can get it on, you can get it on iTunes and Apple and Google and Fandango, like anywhere online. There's another movie called The Hammer that's old. So just make sure you get that one. It happens in life. But I wanted to support George now because honestly, like hanging out with him on Sundays even is, we hang out with him on Sundays and then we work out on Mondays because we realized that we were all in this class, like the diehard fans were like hanging out with him. And we realized, like, we just want to talk to you. And we're talking, it's like an hour and a half later, and he's like, all right, you ready to exercise? And we're like, we're crying, or we're laughing, or whatever comes up, because you never know what's going to come up. The last Sunday, we just learned it was him and Andy talking about this whole history that I had never heard, and I know these guys forever. And it's like, you hear these stories, and you're like, what? Why am I just now hearing this story? And it's just so fun, and it's like going to church, really. So it's like, it's kind of like, going to church, hanging out with these guys, and, put a little money in the plate. And I know we're all hurting. Like, COVID has just murdered every business. It's like so crazy. But kind of like this movie, kind of like these guys, you stay in the ring, and you make it work. You don't sit down. So we set this up, and I just wanted to give you this opportunity to tell you about it, that we're doing it. And please, like, come and hang out with him. And then also you can work out on Mondays. Good luck with that. It hurts. And support him. And it's like, you just put money in his GoFundMe. It goes literally right to his account. And doesn't come anywhere near production company. We actually pay for the website and any fees, and it all the money goes to him. So I just wanted to tell you that and give you a little like, hey, come like support George. And there's a reason we love him. Like, I love him. And then when you see the movie and you meet him, you're like, I love that guy. And there's you see why these biggest fans, like even Charlie Barber, like he comes in and the boxer that challenged him at the fight, he lost. But it's like, he sees him and he's like, he sees the movie, becomes a huge fan, and then meets George. Is like, I'll do anything for you, man. And even get my ass kicked. So it is just this, I don't know, it's a beautiful story, and they're beautiful humans. And especially now, oh my God, we need some like beautiful humanity, right? That go, and put a little money in the church plate. Depends on which church you're going to, because some churches are crying. So, but I'm a believer in like everything is divinely inspired, and this movie definitely is. And so I wanted to tell you what's happening with George Lee Martin. So we're helping him directly as the movie's doing amazing. And the movie's doing amazing because of you. It's totally 100%. 100% you, like the audience, is sharing it, doing completely outside the box. Like, it's just amazing. So I just wanted to say, hey, I know this is long-winded, but you get me. And this is awesome, and I love it. I love the world, and I love that you're in it. And thank you for helping George Lee Martin.